Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to the second meeting of the Digital Materialities seminar of this year. This seminar series is co-hosted by the Digital Humanities Research Hub of the University of London and the Star-UBB Institute from the Babeș-Bolyai University in Cluj, Napoca. And today we have the pleasure to have as speakers Ana, Dumitran, and Ioan Oprea from Museikon, and they will present particularly this project, which is Museikon, a museum of religious art and books. And they will focus on going from physical to the virtual and digital world. Ana, Ioan, welcome, and please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a big honor for us to discuss about our very new museum. It was opened only 5 years ago. It was an idea of Professor Daniel David, director of Babeș-Bolyai University in Cluj, in the end of a postdoctoral fellowship. And I have now the first occasion to transmit this message, because in all these 5 years I have not started to speak with him, to say him this dream, now it's a reality. It was the result of an EEA grants, of Norwegian grants, and this new museum had the same problems in the time of pandemic like all others. Because my English is a little bit poor, I asked my colleague Ioan Oprea to present the PowerPoint, and I hope it will be interesting for you, and you have questions for us.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all hear me well. It's always difficult for me to make an overall presentation in the case of these big projects, but feel free to question us after we finish. So starting with Museikon, I always like to say that we have 3 principles that guide us here, 3 muses to say it more beautiful: time, faith, and heritage. These ideas, these muses motivate us and give us power to work in the museum field for our visitors and for everyone after all. We are located in a very nice place from Romania. We have the chance to be in Alba, Iulia, which all the Romanian for sure known. It's known by everyone, and this gives us a rare chance to have visitors from all over the country. So all the time when we create something, we present something here, we are not just addressing to the local people, but we always have to make sure that we are addressing to all people from Romania, because at least once in a life, every Romanian comes here, at least once. So we are located in the 18th century fortification Alba Carolina, in the middle of the modern city. You see an arrow there. We are just beneath that yellow arrow, inside of the fortification on the northern side. Museikon is young, but the building we have, it's very, very old. For example, when the project started, we knew that we talk about the building dated somewhere in the 16th century, maybe. But as you will see in the next slides, we found out the building was much, much older. So we left here an image with the building. It was used for maybe 2 millennia. This is what the building looked like when Museikon took it. And here is what we found, for example. So as I was saying, we knew that it's old, but when the restoration work and the excavation, we had to do archaeological excavation inside, It turned out to be a much, much older building, and the oldest phases we have now in the building are dated in the 2nd century AD in the Roman time, when the Romans were here and they constructed their first stone fortification. And we are lucky to have that inside of the museum. And this also gave us another advantage and another thing to have in our display, which is, of course, a plus and also attracts other visitors as well. So this is the building with just a few hours before the official opening in November 2017, just before the great year of 2018, when we celebrate 100 years from the Great Union. It's quite a lovely building. Now it's completely restored, and I will show you some photos from inside of it. For example, on the right side, you can see what I told you, the Roman walls. It's quite a big section and unique in our area. 15 meters length, 4 meter wide. And on the left side, you have some images from inside with our glass protection over ruins. So when you take a tour in our museum, you can see also the older phases of the building. And starting with our physical tour in the exhibition, we are a museum dedicated to ecclesiastical art. And we have a quite unique and rare collection of artifacts here. And starting with this image, this room talks about the glass painted icons. For example, you will find out how these icons were painted. And after that, you can see some of our masterpieces from the 18th, 19th centuries, quite very, very beautiful. Also, you will see in the background some of the ruins we had to left on into the permanent display. So it's compromise between the display of the ecclesiastic art and also the history of the building, which is very, very important for us and for the national history as well. Going to the other rooms, on the left side, you have to see in your visit here in Museikon our most important and most beautiful icons we have here, dated in the 16th century. They have quite a history of themselves. And I like to say all the time that I will leave you to discover their story when you visit us. I'm just saying they are one of the most beautiful icons we have in our in Romania, probably, I think. Yeah.
Not only.
Yeah, they are quite masterpieces. And also we have a lot of books. More than half of our collection is represented and made consisting in books. Some of them are dated at the beginning of the 16th century, and we have all kinds of books used in the church services from the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th centuries as well. Going on, we still have some artifacts that survive from older churches. We try to incorporate and to display them in the museum as they used to be in their original place. So we think in this way we give the full meaning of these artifacts, what they were, how they used to be displayed, and so on. Also, we have some of them digitalized, and you can find out, because it was impossible to display their whole entire history in just one room. We have some screens, some displays that helps you to explore more of their history and more about their backgrounds. And I think this is one of the most beautiful rooms we have here. It's actually two rooms. We had to cut two rooms in order to make this iconostasis available in its full shape. It was displayed in the National Museum for several years, but never in his complete shape, full size. So we cut the room in two and we display it in its original position. Of course, it's restored and it's our main attraction to its sizes. And it's also one of the, I think, the few iconostases of this type left in Transylvania. Okay. Here at Museikon, we try to do and to go out to meet our visitors. And we are happy to say that we have a big and long list of waiting artists and creators, painters and so on that would like to work with us. And we, of course, we love to work with them. That's why we have this long list of artists coming here and waiting to display their creations here. But we try to give new interpretation of our heritage. And we also wanted to motivate people and come here and to create with us, or to inspire their works from our collections, or just to create an event for the public. The museum never sleeps. I'm saying this because we also have here laboratories for conservation, restorations. So we all the time work. When we don't have physical activities, online activities, that doesn't mean that someone is sleeping here. It's all the time working. Someone is working here. And this is a quite unique feature for our Museikon. We have a large program dedicated to kids, and we have a large number of partnerships with schools, high schools from the city. And we are happy to say that in the after the pandemic, crazy times, we have a large numbers of people calling us from outside of the city and asking us to perform or to provide these pedagogical services for them. The kids love them, and we can see that because they're coming back, or they're recommending us and coming back with some friends. We provide them guided tours in the museum. You can see our colleague taking them to our masterpieces, the one I mentioned before. And we also have a big number of workshops. We teach kids, for example, the Cyrillic alphabet. We show them the letters. We tell them what they are, how they were used, and how they can use them as well. It's quite attractive because, as I said, we are taking our feedbacks from our visitors. So when we see their number increasing, that motivates us to work even more. We also do some engravings. On the right side, you can see we have a matrix with, of course, inspired with from our motifs from the collections. And they can do this small creation here under our supervision. And they also can take them at home with them, which is a great challenge. And they are very welcome by the kids. We also try to display modern techniques here of conservation in this case, for example, and to explain it under common understanding so more people would understand why the conservation is important, for example, and restorations. Okay, see some more of our events here. We do theaters, we do musics, we do public book presentations, Byzantine art representations, both music and painting and mosaics. Okay, now going to the digital field, we are happy to say that all our collection is in some way digitized. All our more than 6,000 artifacts are displayed somewhere and accessible, of course, physical here, but also in some platforms that I will mention in a few seconds. We also have a very rich research activity here, and this is our magazine. It's also accessible on CEO. We have partnerships from all over Europe and including Americas. Yes. As I said, this is accessible on, sorry, 1 second. This is accessible on CEO. Most of our artifacts as well are available for consultation on Europeana. We have nearly 2,000 of them displayed and accessible on this site. And I will also show you our website just a few minutes after. All our artifacts as well, including books, ethnographics, and icons, both painted on wood, canvas, glass, and metal, are there, and you can Google them, access them, and have a look at them. You can access this website both in Romanian and English, and you can see our list of events, our artists, of course, our files, our magazines that I mentioned before, And most important, you will find our contacts there. And as well, I like to mention, I'm happy to mention this, there's all the time someone who is going to answer you from here, from Museikon, so including in the late hours. Okay. Coming to the complicated era of COVID, this is what we did. I remember exactly how it started in March 2020, when we first heard about this pandemic, and I thought it's going to pass in 2 weeks. But 2 months after, we were talking, what are we going to do now? Because everything got closed, everyone got scared, and we as a museum had to perform our duty for the society in some way. So luckily, we have discovered this German platform called Kunstmatrix. It was, how to say it, in just a few days, we got in the 3D world very, very fast. It was fast because they were good in creating this platform. It was very accessible for even for the beginners. So we rent some rooms on the platforms, and we started to upload our exhibitions. And I also added here a print screen of from the local newspaper. They seen our efforts to move our activities so fast from the physical phase into a virtual one. And the local paper was saying nice words about us, and was saying that we managed to break these physical barriers and to move online. So to keep our contact with our followers still going on. This is more from our virtual rooms, more from our exhibition created online. They allowed us to add music, photos, videos, posters, different text, and you could all that have easy access on it just using 4 arrows. It was quite easy to work on it, as you can see here. Okay. Going on with our digital efforts, we, as about 200 other institutions from Romania, we use a database created by the National Institute of Heritage, DocPot, it's called. And here you can see some of our files. I took just random files here, and they have all the data there. This is quite an accessible and very important national effort to have this database. It allows you as a public institution or a private collector to register your entire collection, including all kinds of small artifacts, everything that can be carried and uploaded here, like paintings, icons, ethnographics, natural science, photos, everything actually. It's quite very detailed, and it also has some insurance systems that only the main administrator allows you to, in case if you erase something or you delete something by mistake, the administrator will all the time be ready to help you. This is more from this database. The photo can be seen full view as well, with all its description, inventory, conservation state, bibliography, if it was restored or not, costs, and so on. As I said, an overall presentation, it's always difficult because that's why we have temporary exhibition to meet all our visitors. So feel free to question us if you've seen something interesting or you want to find out more about us. So best wishes from Museikon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Thank you. This was a very nice presentation, and this is a very beautiful museum. Who has questions?
If no one else is jumping in, I was really intrigued by something that you mentioned very quickly in your general introduction to the museum, which I very much enjoyed this, by the way. I've been to Transylvania several times, and I'm ashamed to say that I've never been to Alba, Iulia. I will next time I come. But no. So what I was interested in was when you talked about the exhibition you have about conservation technologies, and I thought that was really interesting. And I wondered if you had any aspect of that exhibit online, because that strikes me as a sort of thing that could very easily be translated to the online form.
I'm not sure if I understand the last part. That was a temporary exhibition created here with the art museum from Timișoara.
Yeah.
And the artist was, he displayed the several layers of working on painting. It was about painting. And he carved icons, especially icons. Yeah. And he displayed the different layers in different colors. So if you were a person from outside of this field, you could have seen all those layers and how he worked on each of them and what he did on them. Is that what you wanted to find out?
Yeah, I was just asking, are the digital display that you described,
yes,
was that only available on the digital displays in the museum, or is there any possibility of viewing those displays online?
I don't know if he displayed them online. That was just before the pandemic, but I can ask if you would like to know these details.
I'm just curious. I mean, it strikes me as it would be a really interesting thing to see online, and you might think about that for the future. Now that you've got all this potential for stuff through Kunstmatrix and things, might be worth thinking about. Anyway, I was just curious. Thank you.
Thanks.
We have a question or a remark in the chat from Sarah. Sarah, do you want to say what you wrote here, or you can? Okay.
I just wanted to apologize for being late. Seeing that we're such a small group, I feel really awful now.
You have no reason to. Thanks for coming anyway. Okay, so next time each of us is in Alba, Iulia, they definitely have to go to the museum.
Definitely, yes.
Yes. Any other questions? I have a curiosity. I hope you didn't say this and I missed it. Now, after the pandemic, how many visitors do you have, I don't know, in a normal month, in a regular month?
We're happy to got an increase of the number, about 1,700. And we got some visitors from far away. That was the most interesting. Okay. Yeah, we're just talking about our numbers. Before the pandemic, we had more than 10,000 a year. But after the pandemic, in the first months, we just had like 1,700. Our drop off very, very low and very, very sudden. But I was saying the interesting thing that I noticed, that people that have followed us on internet, on these online events, wanted to see us in a physical format. So this is the good part I would like to say that I observed. Oh, yes. And we got international. Kunstmatrix didn't allow us to find out exactly how many people were and have seen the informations, the events on the platform, because it's confidential now. But they said that we have visitors from worldwide. So we also have a lot of friends from abroad, and it was very nice to share these online events with them, because until then we could only show them some videos, some photos.
Yeah.
But it was quite a good dialogue with the international world. So I think we took the best what we could from the COVID time.
Vlad was asking in the chat how many online visits did you have during the pandemic, but I think you said that it was confidential, the number of visits, right?
Well, the Kunst Matrix only told that we have several thousands.
Yeah.
Dozens of thousands. Yeah. That was the old it could say. We were only available to follow the Facebook graphics. Mm-hmm. And according to that, sometimes we had like 40,000, 50,000, and some events including nearly 85,000 people. And that was a huge work for us. Yeah, much more than we would have in reality on the local plan, much more.
Yes, of course, that's natural. But I think that besides having the advantage of interacting with more people online, of course, and having an international audience, which otherwise would be hard to get to the physical events, I think you also, as you said, bring people to the museum, because if you see a museum online and you like their displays, their events, what they post, when you are in that city, you are going to go and see it. Otherwise, maybe you wouldn't include it in your, I don't know, trip schedule or so. I think it's multifold. The advantages of this of being present online, especially for interacting with the younger generations, the teenagers. It's vital, I think. Okay, thank you.
Are you going to, sorry to continue the same question, are you going to continue to do the digital online exhibits alongside the physical exhibits in the future?
No, we closed the partnership with the Kunst Matrix and we come back to the physical exhibitions. But we also maintain them only on our website and our social media pages. The Kunst Matrix was a bit too expensive, so we had to invest those money back in the physical activities.
But it strikes me, as you say, you had so many more visitors, new people who discovered you through the online exhibits.
Yes, it's
it would be really interesting to see how in the long term, how that would work.
That's very beautiful what you are showing us right now. And I think, yes, the accessibility when you have it online, it's
our
a huge difference.
All online, so you can see all these wonders all the time there.
That's great.
So at least we can do, and we can still maintain this part.
Oh. Let me take a look in the chat. Okay. Does anybody else want to add anything or ask anything?
I can ask another small question. If you've had any thoughts about, and maybe you already did this, but if not, if you've had any thoughts about how you might integrate the material remains that you talked about, the old stages of the buildings, the Roman remains in with the digital exhibits? Is there anything interesting you could do with that?
Not quite. This is a quite large subject and very discussed here. And the thing was with these ruins that nobody knew about their existence, and we know exactly what they are now. It's a part of the Roman northern section of the Roman wall, and it's not much to show like an exhibition about that. It's just huge blocks weighing like 400 kilos from the Roman wall. They are very well known in all the Roman Empire, standard things. I mean, it was a huge thing that we got them here because nobody knew about them. We presumed they were destroyed in the 18th century when the fortification was built. And it was a surprise to have them here. And you can see the Roman wall that I mentioned, which is typical for the Roman legions. And you can see some water channels that we discovered in the basement. And we also got a section of this water channel going somewhere, coming from somewhere and going somewhere. And we also found some stamped bricks there, and we know they were built by the Roman legion, and that's quite all about it. But the subject is very, very well known here in the city and also in the national bibliography. And in the main museum, we also have a rich collection of Roman artifacts, very, very detailed and presented there.
Okay, understood.
We're more focused here on the ecclesiastic arts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for this great presentation. Let's see what we have in the chat.
Yes, Alexandru asks, how long did it take to digitize the collections that you described?
3 years. Yeah, 3 years, 10 hours per day, without big breaks. And I am a witness of that.
With how many people working?
1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you did a very good job, actually. And 3 years is not such a long time.
There were another 10 years of study before that, collecting time and taking the photos, getting them, documentation, research, checkings, double checkings.
Many books, many exhibitions.
Yeah. So those 3 years were just the cherry on the top of the cake. The cake was 10 years long before that.
And have you read the question? Alexandru is asking, and you managed that with logistics from your own funds? Did you have a project on that?
Yeah, there is a Recon Trans project still going on, and it's going to have an exhibition in June. Very nice big exhibition.
And a big conference.
Okay.
And another project for all the books with the Academy in Wien, Orthodoxy and Politics. And we expect the results for another project to discuss the first translations of the Bible into Romania with University of Poitiers.
Oh, great. Fingers crossed then.
Thank you.
Did this answer your question, Alex? Okay.
Thank you. This is our website.
Yeah.
exploring.
I think it's a big gain that you have created this website with all the documentation you have here, because the artifacts are obviously unique. They're not like, I don't know, Roman pottery, which is serial. Each artifact is unique. And it's a great resource for anybody who works on anything connected to the given periods of time, or art history, or religious art in general.
We also have here a database of churches from the Alba county. You can see about the original places of these icons, and you also can still see, if you visit those places, what is still there belonging to the ecclesiastic art and what survived there, like these mural paintings. They are exceptionally beautiful. And you all, as I mentioned, you can see these databases on our website as well.
This is great. It's a great resource. And it's a way of preserving this heritage, which is fragile by its nature, especially the mural paintings, which are still in the churches. It's obviously exposed to a high degree of degradation.
Talking about this, these are some photos from Vinkart. This church does not exist in its original place. It burned.
Oh.
So these photos are like treasures now.
Oh, so it burned recently, after?
In 2010.
Well, recent enough, yes.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Yes. As I've said, they are subject, unfortunately, to destruction of all types and to degradation. So yes, these are treasures, and the fact that they are open access and available to anyone interested is great. I think it's a really cool resource.
And in the case of the wooden churches, the situation is much more critical.
Yes, I know that the pollution from the last decades affected them.
Definitely.
High speed, yes. So.
And this is another church from Vidra-Poieni. Here is another critical example of what we're talking about. Yeah, this is mine waters that, as you can see, they swallow the church. This can still be seen in the Apison mountain, of course, underwater. I think the images are quite suggestive enough. This is the church before the lake grew, and this is the church after the lake become bigger and bigger.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting to see these types of landscape evolution as well.
Yep. It's very...
And, it offers great context.
More details. It's mercury deposits, very toxic.
Oh my God. Yeah, unexpected, I would say.
All these photos that you can see here, as what we mentioned before, we are able here to provide more information about them, like bibliography, photos, videos, some guidance how to get there. And of course, our main duty here is to preserve them.
Yes, yes.
As you can see, the database of churches on the website is quite generous, and it will give you a good general overview of the county's heritage of the ecclesiastic art.
Yes. It's a very, very useful resource and, well, visually beautiful, of course. Mm-hmm. Any more questions? If no, thank you once again for the very interesting presentation and for making us familiar with the Museikon and its website resources associated to the webpage. And thank you all for being present here this afternoon, evening, depending where you are.
Thank you for this opportunity for us as well. We were very happy to be here and to give you a glimpse from our activity and from our collection. And feel free to contact us and to visit us anytime.